Good day, everyone. This is John Lee, and welcome to our today's discussion. You have heard on the previous reporter about paternity testing, blood typing, and DNA. But today we shall be emphasizing sports, Wada, and gene doping. Before we proceed to our discussion, we have also to understand that sports nowadays is a very big thing to our athletes, most especially that they put so much of their selves on it. They put so much of their passion, their time, their ability on it. They put so much on this thing because sport is a big thing to them. Now we begin with understanding gene doping. Gene doping is an outgrowth of gene therapy. However, instead of injecting DNA into a person's body for the purpose of restoring some function related to a damaged or missing gene, as in gene therapy, or gene doping involves inserting DNA for the purpose of enhancing athletic performance. In a more scientific words, gene doping is the non-therapeutic use of cells, genes, genetic elements, or modulation of gene expression having the capacity to enhance performance according to World Anti-Doping Agency in 2008. But before the gene doping has been a common tradition, it has happened already in the past. Like in the Olympic Games in the 3rd century. Thus, doping is not a newfangled event in our athletic society or athletic concept. Because in the athletic Olympic composition, some athletes use drugs or the ergogenic substance to enhance their performance by increasing their strength and overcoming fatigue. And now we should have to understand what is the pros and the cons, or basically what are the disadvantages and advantages of this gene doping. Now we try to understand the first picture. Gene doping has been an uncertain thing. So the exact result of gene doping cannot be certain. Scientists have never altered genes to make them better than normal, just to fix them and bring them back to normal. So what good and bad effects might come from gene doping? Now, one negative is all the risks to athletes. A big risk would be the chances of cancer. The changes in the DNA can unintentionally turn on a cancer gene, which would cause the person to get a cancer. Gene doping could also cause the athlete to have an immune reaction, which could affect very little or cause the different body systems to attack each other. Gene doping could also create tumors and serious long-term health effects that are unknown at this point. Some related genetic doping and health damages include cancer, which has already been mentioned, virus infection, autoimmunization, heart attack and stroke, damage of skeletal muscle, and rupture of tendons and ligaments. Now, we also have to understand that a competition has always coupled with regulations, policies, and such criteria to be followed by athletes. Now we try to understand the policy of Anti-Doping World Anti-Doping Agency about this concept, gene doping. What are their thoughts about gene doping, and is it legal or illegal? Now, we try to digest the perspective of Wada. According to them, the genetic enhancement in sport performance seems unavoidable, and therefore it is necessary to establish rational criteria on genetic doping. So basically, according to Wada, genetic enhancement is usually done in sports because of these two main reasons: to enhance performance and to increase the strength and overcoming fatigue. So a strategy to establish this normative normative parameter is to attend two criteria or to meet these two criteria. First is the extension on the effects of the treatment and the type of genetic intervention. Some of the researchers as well that have emerged is that gene doping is considered to be illegal. While many of the researchers have disagreed on the concept of gene doping in sports, some who have disagreed termed it as posthumanism or transhumanism. This deals with superhuman enhancements, that is, increasing the personal skills above the range typical of the human species, as for example, increasing the intelligence quotient from 100 to 200, while Transgeo uses here the term enhancement. It is believed that it is more suitable to call these transhuman interventions. Now, the gene doping is basically one of the strategies in making an athlete's body strong and is capable of doing extraordinary things. Now, some of the researchers have been clashing with other ideas that gene doping is quite risky but beneficial, or they consider it beneficial but it may too risky that it may lead athletes to death because of some of the proven effects of gene doping like cancer, tendons and ligaments rupture were all observed damages to athletes' health. Now, the gene doping becomes illegal when the athletes were able to get affected so much of this. So sometimes the WADA have recommended that gene doping should only be done only in the two criteria: the extension of effects of the treatment and the type of genetic intervention. So there should be a proper assessment for an athlete before proceeding to gene doping, and of course, such treatment are also done, or such treatments are also observed or being given to athletes who went gene doping that have serious effects on it. Now, we try to understand three important concepts why gene doping is considered to be a very dangerous movement in terms of sports. To begin with is gene doping is a possible threat to natural sportsmanship. Second, it threatens the integrity of sports. And last, gene doping is highly dangerous depending on what DNAs we have. So these three concepts remind us that gene doping can be fatal to those who don't observe scientific procedures on doing it, meaning there should be proper consultation and proper assessment on athlete's body to before proceeding to gene doping, as it is recommended by the World Anti-Doping Agency that gene doping can be normally done only if the certain criteria are met. Now, let us try to reflect that gene doping in sports can be a threat to integrity in competition. We try to witness the natural strength, natural performance of an athlete, and we don't try to enhance performance by means of science and technology. We try to place technology development on the human body to increase performance can lead us to a more serious situation or more dangerous situation. And of course, gene doping should also be a not a way to interfere with natural strength of the athletes. We try to make an integrable and a more friendly competition by means of our own natural strength without relying on a gene doping which allows athletes to be more strong and capable of doing extraordinary things. Now, I hope that you have learned a lot on our topic, gin doping, and may you apply this in a certain or in a particular situation. And I hope that our understanding on gene doping and WADA will lead us to a more friendly competition and a more advanced competition, which has the sports is having an integrity, and the sportsmanship is observed. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope to see you next time in our next session. Thank you so much for listening once again.